Hi guys, Transformers of Eternia. And on this video, I wanted to talk about just a speculation or idea, I guess, of something that I've always dreamed of, is mixing Transformers and Masters of the Universe. Now, this is just something I've always thought of. Even as a kid, I kind of thought about this. I don't know of anybody who has talked about this, though. I've never heard a podcast or anything really mention the idea of this. I mean, it's obviously fan fiction. Masters of the Universe is owned by Mattel, and Transformers is owned by Hasbro. So they're two competing companies, I believe. So I don't know how feasible it would be for this to actually happen. But it is fun to talk about and fun to think about. So, how I would go about it if they were to do such a thing, if there was such a crossover that could happen in a comic book or animation, whatever, I don't think it would ever happen, but it would be cool to think about. So, what I would do is I would set it up so that somehow, like Orko, Orko always is doing little magic tricks. In the Filmation show, he was always screwing up and messing up and opening portholes and doing all kinds of things that messed up everything and kind of had to work it all out by the end of the show. But what if Orko was trying to like open a dimension or something randomly or whatever, messing around with something, and he ended up opening a porthole that went to Cybertron? And in my mind, I wouldn't want it to be just like straight up Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Ironhide and Jazz and all these people come walking on through. No, I would want it to be something like a small crew that is working of Transformers on Cybertron or something, that Prime gives permission to go to Eternia to help them out, kind of thing. Or whatever, or they ended up going through there and Prime doesn't even know, and this small crew ends up on Eternia, and it has nothing to do with the main Transformers, so that we could have new Transformers and have them turn into vehicles that they have on Eternia instead of transforming into Earth vehicles. And that would be just amazing to see if they could come up with the designs would be so cool. I mean, just have like the attack track transform into a transformer of some, like an Autobot of some kind, and it just would be so, I don't know, it's just, the idea to me is just, you could have the land shark turn into one of the villains, a transformer like a Decepticon ends up going there as well, and or like the Decepticons somehow come in, like Evil Lynn opens a porthole after she figures out what Orko did, and she does the same kind of thing. You could just, all these things, it would be really, it's just fun things to think about. And I mean, you could, just the thought of how these vehicles would look as Transformers, just that alone is worth everything. I mean, just the Dragon Walker even. I mean, I know that's kind of slow, but it's going up hills and mountain terrain type of stuff. But if that thing could transform, imagine what that would look like. I picture like a like the Dragon Walker being more like a kind of like a bulkhead type of character, like this, almost like Ram Man, kind of, in the form of a transformer, like a big green, brawler type of character, and he'd have that dragon face type of thing on his chest or something. It'd be cool. It'd just be a really cool thing to think about. Or like the Fright Fighter, that thing has wings like a fly, or like a dragonfly or something, and that thing could basically turn into like a purple and like this Decepticon looking thing basically, and that would be really cool. And like the part of the front of like the cockpit or whatever could be part of the chest piece of some kind. It's kind of a big cockpit, so it'd have to be whatever. But and then you could have the wings like poking out the back or whatever, like kind of like Starscream type of thing. But I wouldn't want it to be main Transformers. I would want new Transformers just to be these characters so that we wouldn't have to make them look like Optimus Prime or Bumblebee or have to have the same kind of colors or whatever. So you could have a whole new uh, set of characters that would be just it would be just amazing to think about. It'd be fun to develop. I'll tell you that. Or you could even do Stridor and have him, just be walking along or whatever, and then have a Transformer like copy him and try to be like basically turn into him, and then have like a Night Stalker or something be the same type of situation where it's the opposite of Stridor, a Decepticon, or I don't know. You could have so many ideas from this story, and then you could have in the like the Horde. I don't know too many vehicles of them. I never had many. I didn't have any vehicles really as a kid, so I don't really know all of the vehicles in Master Universe. But I know in the Horde cartoon, I don't know if it was actual toy, but I doubt it. The Horde had the Horde crawler. It's like this tank thing with treads and stuff, and it has Hordak's face, of course, on the front because he's such a narcissist, apparently. But anyway, but it's got these giant cannons on the back. It's got this giant Megatron like cannon on the front, or more toward the front or whatever. And it's got the Horde symbol on the sides. That would be very cool. It's like navy blue. It would be so cool to see that transform into a giant like Megatron almost type of robot, but not Megatron. But that would be it. Just would be a brawler type of bad warrior with big giant cannon on his arms or his back or something. And then the Wind Raider would be really cool to be like the air vehicle that can transform and have the wings go on the back or whatever. And the cool color scheme it'd be like Man at Arms type of color scheme vehicle that would really, I don't know. These are just some of the thoughts that go to my mind when I think of the Masters of the Universe having vehicles. The one that set this whole thing off, though, that I always thought about the most becoming a Transformer is the Battle Ram. The Battle Ram just looks like it should be a Transformer, and that would be even cooler if if the if the Sky Sled or whatever the Sky Sled that's in the front of it pops off and transforms into a smaller Transformer, and then the back piece turns into a Transformer 2, and then have them actually combine as a actual robot, like one robot, and then transform into the Battle Ram. I'm really going overboard here, and I know they're never going to do this stuff, but anyway, and then have like Masters of the Universe Origins sized toys be able to fit in these vehicles. It'd have to be big Transformers, I know. But if this was like the back in the day, they might have done this, but I don't know. So it would just be so cool to see them actually do like a Roton that transform. I don't know how that would transform. Like, that thing that spins around on the side. I don't know. That's for designers to come up with for that one. But yeah, that would be cool. Or like the Road Ripper, that could be a smaller transformer, like a speedster type of, just like an Autobot, a really good, racing Autobot with the dragon, had the dragon on its chest or something, like the head that's on there, and have like the two big wheels, have them like giant wheels that stick out, it's like off his back or something. I don't know. I'm just coming up with ideas. And I've always wanted to design these things into actual Transformers, but I don't know how to use the software to draw these things and do all that. It would be fun, but and then like obviously the Sky Sled, like I said before, would be a smaller Transformer, and there could be like an army of those, because everybody uses Sky Sleds. I mean, even Skeletor, all those guys were driving around these things, so they could have different versions of Sky Sleds. Have those be like some kind of a army of clones or something. I don't know. It's just up to the mind to come up with all these things. You could you could go on forever. But yeah, like I said, and like the Land Shark, you could have the front of the thing kind of aimed down or something, like the on his chest or something, like the front of the mouth, the shark part, face or whatever, and then have like giant guns on his back or something, or have his back, or have his giant guns or whatever go on his arms. I don't know. But these things would be cool, and then naming them would be cool names. They could have like Point Dread and the Talent Fighter turn into stuff. I don't know. It's just it's just endless supplies of stuff you could have. And then I thought about, and then you got to also think about, well, how would this go down? With like some of the Decepticons coming to Eternia. I mean, Orko had this porthole open or whatever, and then they somehow connected, and He-Man decided to help these Autobots or whatever, and then Evelyn or Skeletor or somebody sets up something where the the villains get their Decepticons, and the Decepticons are like, yeah, oh, the Autobots are here. Well, we can take care of them. Why don't we work together? That's what they've done this in crossovers in the past. I know they had like Ghostbusters. They had all kinds of different ones, and they've done crossovers, but it's never. I don't know if they've done it with a Mattel. I don't think they can do that, and I don't think they will. But this is just something I never hear a podcaster or anybody talk about this on any other things. So this is like something I'm just dying to talk about because it's something I've always dreamed of seeing. It would be just so cool to see these things. I mean, I don't think in my lifetime this will happen, but you never know. It's just something to think about. But then you could have. I mean, at one point I thought about maybe Beast Wars being the way that they because I had Orko and like this little like a picture like animation like comic book type of thing I set up where he tries to turn basically make Battle Cat separate from Cringer, so Cringer doesn't have to turn into Battle Cat, so he doesn't have to be scared or whatever. Anyway, and then he basically uses his little wand, and all of a sudden he basically don't know what he did, and he makes a mistake, and all of a sudden it turns into Tigertron from Transformers Beast Wars. And then Tigertron's like, where am I? How did I end up here? And then He-Man's like, we got to help him. Orko, we got to fix this issue. And then you end up finding out, that like the Beast Wars are somehow mixed in with this. And then you get the Beast Wars, and you get Megatron, uh, helping Skeletor or something. I don't know. That's kind of another way you could do this. And it would make more sense. Or you could do the Pretenders. On my Octopunch video, I talked about this a little bit, but you could do Pretenders and have Pretenders be, because they're actually Masters of the Universe size figures. I think I heard a story somewhere, some way that Pretenders were actually supposed to be Hasbro's answer to Masters of the Universe figures, because back in the 80s, Masters of the Universe was really doing well, and Transformers was kind of starting to die down, so they decided, well, let's do Pretenders. That's similar to the Masters of the Universe. So then they did these Pretenders figures, and they're like action figures that have robots inside of them, and they couldn't do much posing or do much of anything because they had to open up like a shell and have a Transformer pop out. But when I was theorizing in the video with for Octopunch or whatever that has Octopunch on it. Anyway, had a theory that they could do today. They could do Pretenders. I know they're doing Pretenders in the Transformers line, and they're just turning into their vehicles. But I'm talking about like if they wanted to do the action figure portion, like Octopunch, because he's one of my favorites. And I used to play with my Octopunch with the Masters of the Universe because I didn't have any other Transformers really. I had Pretenders and a lot of He-Man. But anyway, and then basically you could have like Octopunch be the same size as the Masters of the Universe Origins figure and have him have the same type of like build as Origins figures. So they're like posable, elbows posable, everything's posable. And then have them have a backpack that actually that comes apart like a box or something on a backpack or whatever on their armor, whatever. Anyway, and that can come off and transform into the robot version that once went inside of the Pretender, and have that be like the actual Transformer thing that's on there. And then if the designers are good enough, they can have that then transform from a robot also into like the crab or whatever the tank, or what I mean, that like the Pretender would come with. And that would be something. And that would be also a way that for like Masters of the Universe and Masters and Transformers to come together, because those things are about the same height as like a Masters Universe figure. So they're kind of like they're pretenders, so they're obviously pretending to be people or whatever. So they would be pretending, and then they'd be just these different characters that somehow ended up on Eternia, and He-Man would have to deal with, and you would find out that they had robots attached to them somehow, and then Skeletor could work with like the evil Decepticon ones, or the good guy, the Autobot ones can work with He-Man and all. You know what I mean? And it would just work out. So you could just do this so many different ways. There's just so many ways that they could intermix Transformers into the Masters of the Universe type of, like a crossover, And I don't think it'll ever happen. So I'm putting this out there just because I don't think it'll ever happen, and because it's a really cool idea. And I like I said, I've never heard anyone talk about this type of thinking in ever. I've never heard anyone think about this or talk about this on a podcast. So I'm just putting it out there. It's just something I dream of, It's just as a fan, and it's a good topic to talk about, It's worth talking about. And so anyway, you guys also, please subscribe and please like and share these videos, because it'd be nice, because it seems like there's not a lot of subscriptions going out, it seems like, and I'm just putting these out because I thought maybe, Master Universe fans and Transformer fans, you could all get something out of these shows, So just like, share, and subscribe, please. It really helps. I mean, if you like what I'm doing, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to have better mics. I'm trying to have better everything. But I'm trying to get better. I just hope that more people will actually pay attention to what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to be something new, I guess, and try to talk about different things that I don't hear other people talk about. I mean, I'll cover like the main topics and main stuff that other people talk about too, but I like to talk about theories on how to do things, create, like what the movies should be like, what the video games should be like, these type of things. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all I can say. I think went a bit long on this one, but it was a good talk, I guess. And tell me what you think in the comments. If you think this should happen, I'm always interested in hearing what other people think about this. Because, like I said, I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so maybe you're into this type of stuff. Who knows? Well, anyway, like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.